Alrighty, so welcome to this presentation. My name is Kai Bax and I'm the founder of Bax Consulting, which pretty much adds a couple extra $1 million every single year to e-commerce and the info product brands bottom line via the use of paid traffic, really online marketing as a whole. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through literally the step-by-step plug and play, press button formula that we use to inject at least an extra $250,000 per month to ecom and info product clients bottom line, as I mentioned before. And really it's a step-by-step process that you yourself or your marketing team, if you've got a marketing team, get your CMO to watch this video, whatever it may be, your brand can literally implement this and you'll see the results. Now, it is in my best interest. I know you're probably jaded by videos of this nature, of other agencies and other marketing gurus and all that, trying to like sell you on something or whatever. But to be honest, it's in my best interest for you to watch this video, take the actionable insights that I'm about to literally lay out for you, and for you to go ahead and implement those into your business and you actually see an increase. It's in my best interest that I basically give away the farm in this video, because I know that if you go ahead and as a byproduct of you implementing literally word for word what I'm about to show you here, if you're able to see an extra $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $200,000 a month, $250,000 a month increase in your bottom line, I know that you're probably going to end up coming back to us and potentially coming on board as a Bax Consulting client, because you know that working with us, you could very easily ramp to $1 million a month, for example. So as I say, it's in my best interest that I make this as valuable as possible and provide as many actionable insights as possible so that you actually get some value out of it and you actually get some gain out of it and you actually get an ROI out of it as well, because I know you're very, very busy. And so for you to invest the next 20, 30 minutes watching this video, I know it's a large investment. And so I want to make sure that your ROI on watching this video is going to be very, very substantial. So with that being said, I'm not going to hold you any longer. Let's just jump straight in. Okay, so this is pretty much the Bax Consulting 250K MRR technical flow diagram. Now, it sounds a lot and it may look quite confusing, and pretty much just lay out exactly how we're able to add a couple extra million to our clients' bottom line each and every year on year. And so with that being said, as I say, let's go a bit deeper here. So we basically got, and obviously if you've ever ran any advertisement before yourself, you're running ads right now for your brand, or maybe you've got a team in place running ads for your brand, I'm sure you're familiar with the overarching, the 3-tiered traffic kind of sources, right? So you've got top of funnel at the top here, right? So top of funnel is obviously completely cold prospects. These are people who have never heard of your brand before. They have no idea who you are. They don't know you from a hole in the wall. Then next down, we've got middle of funnel here, right? So middle of funnel is everybody who has, middle of funnel is pretty much everybody who's in between top and bottom. So they know of you, they've heard of you, they've seen you around, but they've never gone to your website. They've never shown any intent in actually buying. They just kind of know who you are. That's middle of funnel, right? And then at the very, very bottom, we've got bottom, obviously bottom of funnel kind of states it in the name. And these are people who have shown intent. They've, maybe they've even added a product to the cart. Maybe they've even added in their payment information to actually go ahead and buy your product, but for whatever reason, they didn't end up purchasing. So, that's very common knowledge. That, I'm not really going to spend too much time on that, because I know majority of you watching this probably already know that. And, I want you to be able to basically take some actionable insights from this video, unique actionable insights, and you go ahead and implement them into your brand, and you actually see a 20K increase in MRR, or a 50K or 100K or $250,000 increase in MRR, right? I want that to happen. Now, me just talking about middle, top, and bottom of funnel, it's not going to do that, right? So let's go a bit deeper. So top of funnel, this is that by far the absolute hardest audience to crack and really dial in on, right? It's by far the hardest. However, as a byproduct of it being the hardest, it's also the most important that you do get right. Because in middle of funnel and bottom of funnel, you're always going to see much higher returns on these audiences than you are on top of funnel. Okay. Now, with middle and bottom of funnel though, they're finite audiences. They're very, very finite. There's only a certain amount of people who've added to cart, right? Or viewed your page or viewed content. There's only a certain amount of people who are on your Instagram. But to be honest, top of funnel, there's an unlimited amount of people. So you need to crack the code on the top of funnel. Now, the number one way to do this, okay, is by crafting ads that your ideal customer or client, if you're an info product, customer or client, actually resonate with, and those adverts strike a nerve. Because it's really only at the point that the ad strikes a nerve in the ideal customer or client that that ideal customer or client will actually click and go ahead and purchase. If your ads don't resonate, you may as well just stop advertising. This is the biggest issue that I see amongst all advertisers, amongst all marketing agencies and all that type of stuff. It's by far the number one biggest issue. They don't craft ads that convert. What people get hung up on is the technicalities. Or what about if I, do this percentage of, I do like 1% lookalike, or I do a 0.5% lookalike, or I do this, or I do that. That's what everybody worries about. Yet their adverts are just the worst things ever written. The adverts say like 25% off today only, and here's benefit 1, 2, and 3, buy now. That's what their ad says. Yet they're worrying about all this technical jargon in the back end to try and look like they're doing stuff, trying to look like they're being smart. Yet their ads are just fundamentally flawed. And it doesn't matter what audience you show those ads to, they're never, ever, ever going to convert. That's the biggest issue that I see, as I say, amongst all agencies, all marketers, and really majority of brands ads, right? And a majority of businesses advertising. It's the biggest issue. Now, the reason, as I said before, we're able to routinely add a couple extra million to each and every one of our clients' bottom line every single year on year, is because we craft adverts using a formula called foundational copywriting, analysis, and research. So myself and the team at Bax Consulting, we refer to this process as foundational CAR. As I say, that's short for foundational copywriting, analysis, and research. And we use a questionnaire as such. Right? We use a questionnaire like this. It's called the Foundational Audience Diagnosis Findings. And what we use this for is to really, really dial in on our, the respective client's ideal customer or their respective client, right? We literally dig as deep as we possibly can into what they're, as I say here, what grates on their nerves, right? What grates on the ideal customer's nerves? What are the biggest pain points / biggest fears, right? What's the ideal audience's tribal language? I mean, this is questions that you don't think to ask. But when you do ask and you find the right answers, you find the genuine audience's tribal language, you find the terms and phrases and angles that will turn off / repel that respective customer. Look at question 9 here, right? Is there something the ideal customer is secretly guilty of? We dig as deep as we physically can, and then we craft an ad that speaks to them because we know exactly what it is that resonates with them, what they like, what they don't like, what repels them. We know what they're secretly guilty of, right? We know kind of where they're at in society in terms of, income bracket and occupation. What's a common occupation that's amongst the ideal audience, right? When we have these answers, crafting ads at that point is very easy. Right? It's very, very easy. So going back into the 250K MRR action flow, what we then do is, as I say, top of funnel, we have a goal. Now, to most people, this goal is quite out there. But for top of funnel, our goal is to profitably inject customers into your funnel at a 3 to 7x ROAS. Meaning for every dollar we put in, ideally top of funnel, we like to see anywhere from $3 to $7 back top of funnel. Okay, so I can go a bit technical here, but I know some of you may be, more of a creative founder rather than the technical founder. Some of you may be more of the visionary CEOs rather than the engineer type CEO. So I don't want to go too technical and lose you or anything like that. But essentially what we do top of funnel, as I say, first things first is we dig deep. We understand deeply who we're running ads to, what they like, what they don't like, and all that stuff. Then from there, there's obviously 2 types of audiences that you can run top of funnel: lookalike audiences and interests. Now I'm not going to go too technical into this. However, what we do, is we launch our first iteration. So we do everything in iterations because really iterations is how you can ramp. And I'm going to explain how that works here in a minute. So lookalikes and interests. Okay, that's what we launch top of funnel. And everything that we launch, we always leave it anywhere from 48 to 72 hours. To let Facebook aggregate the data so we can, really base our decisions off of data, and we can remove emotions from the process. As I'm sure being a CEO, any emotionally charged decision is just the worst possible thing that you can do. And so what we do is we essentially just remove all emotion, right, from the process. And so what we essentially do is just, remove all emotion. We leave it 48 to 72 hours. And then from there, we ask ourselves very, very strict questions. We say, are KPIs being met, right? ROAS obviously being put on a pedestal. Are KPIs being met? Are we in KPI? Yes or no? If it's no, what we'll do is we'll pull from the gathered data and launch the next iteration. So as I say, we launching iterations. Reason being is because of this right here. Right? We go through. And so what we can do is basically pull data from that initial iteration, and then that data will fuel our next iteration so that following iteration becomes more effective. Because in the first iteration, we can see, right? We're not hitting KPIs. Why is that? Well, it's because this or because of that or because of this, right? So it's of X, Y, or Z. Well, now in the next iteration, we're going to fix X, Y, or Z, whatever the issue was, and we'll launch again. And again, we'll launch it. We'll leave it 48 to 72 hours, and we'll ask ourselves the same question. Are KPIs being met? Now this time, usually by the second or third iteration, we would have found the sweet spot, we would have found the winners, and then we can start to look at going down this route, right? Which is, are KPIs being met? Yes, they are. Perfect. Is the spread large enough which enables us to scale? What do I mean by that? Well, you're going to have a break-even ROAS. We take into account profit margins when running ads for clients. What is their break-even? Some clients break-even is a 1.3 ROAS. Other clients is a break-even of a 1.6 ROAS. Whatever it may be, there's going to be a break-even. And if we're below that, then you're going to be losing money. If we're above that, you're going to be profiting. Now, the goal is to make that, obviously the goal is to hit break-even and then push the boundaries on how far we can surpass that break-even point, because the further we surpass it, the more profit you're making, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. So that, when we start to surpass it, that there is called a spread. Now we ask ourselves if that spread is large enough to scale. Okay, because what's going to happen when you scale, you're going to start to put more money in the machine. It's going to start to obviously spit more out. But what tends to happen is the ROAS, which means return on ad spend. So how much are you getting back for every dollar you put in? Maybe you put in $1 and right now you're getting $6 back, right? But what's going to happen when you start to scale, because you're spending more money, that $6 may creep down to around $4.50. And that's completely fine because you're putting 4x more into the machine, 2x more into the machine, whatever it is, 5x more into the machine. So you're profiting a whole heap more. Now, the issue comes where, if that spread isn't large enough, so if your break even is easy numbers 2, obviously we're in KPI, we're profiting, that's great news, but we're only at a 2.5 ROAS. Well, then when we scale, obviously, as I say, you need to account for the fact that every single time you scale, what's going to, it's inevitable to happen, your margins are going to decrease. So what may happen is you may go below the 2, right? As it decreases from the 2.5, it may dip below the 2 break even. And at that point, you're losing money. So it doesn't make sense to keep obviously spending money because you're losing money, right? So we ask ourselves if the spread is large enough. If it's not large enough, so as I said before, maybe, your break even's a 2, the ad set or the ad is running at a 2.5. Well, in that case, the spread isn't large enough. So what we would do is we'd go down this route, and we'd let the ad set gather more data. And so what we would do is we would leave it another 24 to 48 hours. And, we'd come back to the top and we'd ask the same question. The KPI is being met, and then we'll go through the same process. Now, if we get back to this section here where we ask ourselves, is the spread large enough, which enables us to scale? If the answer to here is yes, then what we're going to do is we're going to start to increase the budget and we're going to start the process of scaling. And then again, we're going to leave it 24 to 48 hours and we're going to ask ourselves this same question. This process, first of all, removes all emotion, right? It removes all emotion. It's all data-driven analysis. It's all data, all of our moves, all of our decisions and everything that we do is driven by the data. Now, if you're doing anything based off of emotion in your marketing, this is the number one reason why you're not going to be at whatever it is that you want to be at. This is the number one reason why you're not pulling in $250,000 a month profit after ad cost each and every month from your marketing. This is the sole reason, because it's based on emotion. Any emotionally based decisions are never good, right? They never ever work out. And also the other reason why this is so good is because it's iteration based. So everything fuels back to the top. And what that enables us to do is launch more effective iterations every single time, because it's based on the data. If the data shows us, the data literally says black and white right there, do not do this, do that. Well, if you don't, analyze that data and you can't understand that, well, then you're going to be leaving a huge amount of money on the table because you're going to keep doing what you shouldn't be doing and you're going to neglect what you should be doing. Now, that is the number one way to, just decrease margins and be extremely fat in the ad account. You're not going to be lean. You're not going to be efficient. And obviously that meaning that your ROAS is going to be high. Rather, you're going to be hitting glass ceilings. Every time you try and scale, things are going to break because your margins, you're so tight. Every time you try and scale, you're going to instantly dip below break even. You're going to lose money. So then you have to obviously decrease your spend, and it just doesn't work. And numbers like $250,000 a month profit as a byproduct of your marketing, those numbers don't even come into the equation. However, for all of our clients, it's kind of a given. And this is one of the main reasons why. Okay, so that's top of funnel. Now you just go through that iterations. Now you just keep going through those iterations, and that is how you, as I say, our goal for top of funnel for all of our clients is to inject customers into the funnel at a 3 to 7x ROAS. This right here is how we do it. Now, what's going to happen? As I say, the goal is to generate a 3 to 7x ROAS from top of funnel. As a byproduct of that, ideally we want to be converting anywhere from 3 to 5%. Or we want to have a 3 to 5% ad conversion rate directly from our cold advertising, our top of funnel advertising. Now this obviously goes straight into our purchase custom audience. Now what's going to happen, right? We're only converting 3 to 5% from cold. Now there's also obviously another 95 to 97% of traffic. Where's that going? Well, that traffic is going to be getting injected into our retargeting funnel, which is bottom of funnel. Now within bottom of funnel, these audiences will be the most profitable ad sets in the entire ad account. We usually see anywhere from a 2 to 3x higher return on bottom of funnel than we do on top of funnel. Now bottom of funnel, basically, as I mentioned before, it encompasses everybody who's landed on your website, everybody who's added products to their cart and whatnot, but didn't purchase, right? And even the purchase custom audience still is part of bottom of funnel because you can run retargeting ads to those who have purchased with upsells and downsells and this and that. But majority of your bottom of funnel audience is going to come in the form of page views, view content, add to cart, and initiate checkout. So everybody who's just landed on your website and not taking any action will be a page view. Everybody obviously who's viewed content will be a view content. Everybody who's added to the cart, so they've clicked on, they've added to basket, added product to cart, whatever it is, will fall into this audience. And then you've got initiate checkout. Now these two here are purchase intent audiences, okay? And these two here are more middle of funnel, but it still falls into the bottom of funnel sector. Now what we're looking for with our bottom of funnel, and this is what you can achieve when you do things correctly, is a 15 to 25% ad conversion rate. Now with middle and bottom of funnel, now middle of funnel is something I'm going to explain here in a minute as well, but with middle and bottom of funnel, right, this section is most effective when you go offer heavy. See, everyone who's in these audiences already know, for the most part, what your product is, how it can help them, etc., etc., etc. Right? They already know who you are. They've maybe done a bit of research. They've read a little bit about your products, how it can help them, all that type of stuff. So now they just simply need an incentive to buy. That's it, right? They need a reason to buy right now from you and not in 6 months from a competitor. That's what they need, right? And in addition to that, they need to physically see what they are going to be getting when they buy the product, right? They're at the last leg. They're already sold. Now they just want to know, what are they actually getting when they're spending the $100 or $200 buying your product? That's where product focused creative comes in on retargeting as well. Now, middle of funnel, as I said to you before, this is basically everybody who has heard of you. They've seen your brand, they've seen an ad or whatever it is, but they've never been to your website. They've never shown any, discernible intent. They just follow you on Instagram. They've just engaged in one of your pictures. Maybe they've liked a picture here or there, but they've never shown any intent. However, these audiences are still warmer. They've still got higher intent than top of funnel simply because they know you, okay? Now, your social following / engagement will experience a severe spike in growth due to the cold conversion ads that we'll be running. So as a result, your middle of funnel audiences are going to be very, very profitable to target because 70% of them is everybody through our top of funnel traffic, right? And usually on a middle of funnel audience, we on average see anywhere from 5 to 10 ROAS. Now, as I said before, these are really the three main middle of funnel audiences: Instagram engagers, Facebook engagers, and advertisement engagers. So this is the funnel. This is how we structure things. It may actually look pretty simple, and to be honest, it really is. The most important part of this funnel right here is this foundational car, the foundational copywriting, analysis, and research. This is by far the most important part of the entire funnel. And the reason being is because, if you create ads that don't speak to anybody, they don't strike a nerve within anybody, well, you're not going to get any results. It's physically impossible to get any results because the number one reason people click on ads, people buy products, is because they have a deep desire for whatever that product is. They feel as though they need that product. They want it. Now, if you don't make people want your products, what you're selling, nobody's going to buy it, right? Because nobody buys on what they actually need, right? What they physically need. They buy on what they want. So you need to make your ads create that deep desire in your audience for them to want your product. At that point, they'll convert. That's it. You don't need to worry about the technical jargon in the back end, all these little technicalities and doing this and doing that and some secret hack or secret trick. That stuff's irrelevant. If you create a deep desire in your ideal customer for them to want your product, they'll convert. That's it. It's game over. And all of that is done at the top here in the foundational car section. You can't do that if you have no idea, first of all, who your ideal customer is. And even if you do, if you don't have any idea what they deeply want, what deeply resonates with them, what they really want in their heart of hearts, if you don't know that, you can't create ads that speak to that, right? It's very simple, but it's so effective, and it's the number one thing that everybody fails to do. Now, I want to walk you through a live ad account right now and show you this stuff in action and the results that it's able to warrant. So this is inside a real life ad account, okay? You can see here, it's this month, so 1st of March to the 5th of March, so literally a 5-day view. I'll go ahead and update this again. So you can see this month so far, we spent 5,000 and brought in just over 40,000 for an average of 7.97 ROAS, right? And if we go, I'll go a bit of a broader view here just so you can get a bit more of a grasp on how this stuff works. Now, if we go to last month, right, we'll get a bit more of a full month view. So the 1st of Feb to the 28th of Feb, so 28 days, we spent 31,000, right? And we brought in 222,000. So just under the 250,000, but you can see how this plays out in real time. It's super, super powerful stuff, right? So 31,000 spent, 222,000 brought in, right? For an average ROAS of 7.2. Now, how this ties directly in with what we were speaking about before, obviously it's the funnel and whatnot. Now, the reason I'm at the ad set level as well, by the way, I'm at the ad level, not the ad set level, is because of the purchase conversion value and it not actually adding up. So if you come here, you can see that these are all off because of the new attribution window. It doesn't show the totals. So we go to the ad section, you can see the totals. Now, the reason this is so powerful is because of these three ad metrics right here. So we've got quality ranking, we've got engagement rate ranking, and we've got conversion rate ranking. Now, what this refers to is your ads. Okay, this is what it refers to. Now, if you're able to score either average or above average on these three metrics, I can near guarantee you that your results are going to be amazing. I can near guarantee you that you're going to be wildly profitable with your marketing. Why? Because what these three metrics mean is this right here. So a ranking of your ads' perceived quality. Quality is measured using feedback on your ads and post-click experience. Okay, your ad is ranked against ads that competed for the same audience. So essentially, is the quality of your ad on a high level or not, right? Now, engagement rate ranking, again, is another very, very important metric. It's a ranking of your ad's expected engagement rate. Engagement includes all clicks, likes, comments, and shares. Your ad is ranked against ads that competed for the same audience. So what this means is, obviously, if you score high, if you're average or above average on your engagement rate ranking, it simply means that people are engaging with your ad. People are liking it, people are loving it, people are commenting, sharing. What does that mean? Why would somebody do that? Because you're speaking directly to them. You're creating adverts that resonate deeply with said ideal customer. Okay, this is why it's so important, right? It's not just some kind of airy-fairy ideas. It's real life stuff that genuinely impacts your ads. If your ads are the typical 25% off today only, buy here for 25% off, or buy here for $50 off, or get X product because of benefit 1, 2, 3, get it here today for, 400% off, right? However, if you create ads where it's like, buy X product today only and receive, 50% off or whatever, right? Ads like that, they don't speak to anyone. They don't resonate with anyone. They don't strike any nerves. And that's why most ads completely fail, because of those exact reasons. However, when you create ads where your engagement rate ranking is average or above average on near every single ad, then that's when you start to see these types of numbers, right? Literally 5 days into the month, we've already profited or just under 35,000, right? Purchase conversion value minus ad spend. So we spent 5,000, brought in 40,000, roughly 35,000 difference. In 5 days of March, the first 5 days of March, is because of that exact reason, okay? And the last one here is conversion rate ranking. So this is a ranking of your ad's expected conversion rate. Your ad, again, is ranked against ads within your same optimization goal that competed for the same audience. So again, conversion rate ranking basically means how many people are gonna click over to the website, okay? Now, again, the reason you'll be able to score high on your conversion rate ranking, average or above average, is simply because the ad speaks to the prospect, it speaks to them deeply, it resonates with them, it creates that desire, that want for your product that we were speaking about before. And at that point, they'll click over, and if your website's constructed in a good way, your website converts at ideally 1.5% conversion rate or above, they'll convert. It's as simple as that. So I hope you was able to pull some actionable insights from this video. Now, the way that we operate as an agency is we actually don't charge any upfront retainers, right? We don't charge any upfront fees. We're an entirely performance-based agency. So the better results we get you, the more we get paid. So we actually have a vested interest in getting you results. And by the way, it's profitable results as well. It's not revenue or ad spend where it kind of doesn't matter what the profit is. It's, we take a percentage of that genuine profit that we generate you as a brand. So obviously we only work with a very, very certain type of brand, but as I mentioned before, I implore you to go ahead, book in your call below, and we'll see if it makes sense to bring you on board as a Bax Consulting client. And look, worst comes to worst, you're going to get pretty much an entire plan on how you can implement these results yourself if you're not a good fit for us to basically come in and implement it and do everything for you. So as I say, go ahead, book in your project scale session below. And with that being said, I'm deeply, deeply excited to speak with you very, very soon.